So check this, man. So it seems like Cuban Link is retracting the statements that he made about calling Fat Joe a snitch. And after observing a lot of this, at the end of the day, man, you gotta look yourself in the mirror and look at this is where you at for a reason. See, a lot of people don't want to say this stuff because they don't want to. They trying to get an interview, or they thinking that they want to side with somebody. They want to be a part of the circle. But this has to be said, man. In the midst of all this, Cuban hasn't put out any music. He hasn't put out any work. It's all been Fat Joe. It's all been the incident that took place 20 years ago. It is like, it's at this point it's getting old, man. You got to come with either with some good music. You got to come with a podcast, a t-shirt. You got to break an artist, do something. Like, you didn't even release your first album. You could at least got the rights to that. And a lot of people don't want to, they don't want to really tell the truth because they trying to get something out of the situation. And this is why I'm starting to see why Fat Joe left these guys alone in a way, man, because they ain't putting in the work themselves. Like, this been going on 20 years, bro. Where's the album? Where's the verses? You're not networking, man. And he's a talented individual. Cuban Link is very talented. Like, he was shining heavy on that Terror Squad album, the first one. He was shining heavy on the Big Pun album. He was shining heavy on the Fat Joe album. He probably wrote a lot of Fat Joe stuff. But it comes a time where it's like, okay, you've been going at Joe for 20 years. Now, what are you doing? It's time to bring something to the table, man. The blackball excuse is gone, man. Especially when people are now finding ways to independently put out music. And especially in 2021, nobody really cares about who's a snitch and who's not anymore. Especially when you got Rat 9 out there. People making their own rules when it comes to snitching. But it's just crazy how talented these guys are, but yet they can only spend it talking about somebody else. Even I said the same thing about Lil C's. It's sad how the only way Lil C's could get booked for an interview is if he talking about Biggie, he talking about Pac, he talking about Quad Studios, or he talking about Lil Kim. He falls in the same boat as Cuban Link in a way, but these guys ain't putting in nothing. Like, at this point, I'm like, would you get tired of being booked just to talk about another man? Would you want the interview or the content that you trying to create to be focused on something that you currently doing? I mean, it's getting old after a while. It ain't like you're gonna take a fade with Joe and get it over with. Like, what are we doing here? The smear campaign ain't working. Fat Joe, he done moved on. You gotta look in the mirror, bro, and look at, like, what are you doing? Tony Sunshine, he's still putting out music. So I'm wondering where Armageddon at. I want to reach out to Armageddon for an interview, but he seemed to be low key these days. But love him or hate him, man, Fat Joe is moving. He's putting out product. He got the podcast. He just dropped the album. He's networking. He's moving. What are you doing, bro? And it's just like pure talent, fatal flaw. It's nothing sadder than seeing wasted talent, man. And Cuban Link has a lot of talent. So I'm hoping that when this thing is over with, that he can focus on him. He could get back in the booth. He could deliver us something. Because the dude is a gem. We done heard the content. He done been on Doggy Diamonds. He done been on the Murder Master Music Show. He done been on all these other platforms. He been on Vlad. We done heard the stories already. It's time for some new gems, man. So that's my opinion about it. Subscribe, hit the like button, holla.